It's that time of the year again, boys. Opening day is here, and you guys know if you saw my video last year, I made that video where I was predicting who was going to win each division and who's making the playoffs. Well, here in 2025, we're doing that again. So here are my picks on who I think is going to be winning each division, as well as who's going to be qualifying for the playoffs as this year's wildcard teams, both in the American League and in the National League. So let's get to it. Starting in the AL West, as usual, where the Astros will reside. Hasn't been the dream offseason for the Astros, but I still think that Dana Brown had managed this franchise for his both current and long-time future goals, and that is to just keep winning. So I still see the Astros competing for another AL West division title. I mean, the Rangers would certainly be hot on their heels this year, as will probably the Mariners. But I still think the Astros are going to be coming out on top this year. I mean, obviously, with the horrible year that the Mariners had last year and also that the Rangers had that same year, I expect both of those teams to be competing with the Astros in the AL West this year. But at the end of the day, like I said, the Astros are still the class of this division, and I'm still going to be saying that until some other team definitively proves otherwise. Now, that being said, I do still think that the Angels not being a wild card team is not out of the question this year. And I mean, the A's might emerge as contenders this year, but again, I think with the nature of the American League, I don't think they'll be making the playoffs. Again, we'll see how the season unfolds. So that's going to be my pick in the AL West, as you guys probably would imagine. Next up in the AL East, I mean, I did get that pick incorrect, thinking the Orioles would win it, but of course the Yankees won it rather handily. But I think with the Yankees going into this season beat up with injuries, with Giancarlo Stanton missing some time, Garrett Cole obviously getting Tommy John surgery, I still think that all these pitchers getting Tommy John surgery over the past couple of years is something that we as fans should be concerned about. Because ever since the pitch clock was implemented, I mean, it's proven that honestly that with more pitchers going down on a daily basis to long-term injuries on their elbow or on their shoulders, then, I mean, it's becoming clear that the pitch clock maybe is something that they're not used to as of yet. Obviously, I think there's just probably not enough data to get to, determine whether changes need to be made to it. I mean, meanwhile, in the first year that they had instituted it in 2023, they had reduced it again the following season. So, I mean, could that mean we might see some changes again in 2026? We'll find out. But with that being said, I think the Orioles are going to get their revenge on the Yankees this year and dethrone them in the AL East. I mean, I do still believe that it's going to be tough, but I mean, I think with all their young guys and emerging and their young studs emerging as all-star candidates and MVP caliber candidates, I believe that they're going to be winning the AL East this year. Now, that being said, I do still think the Yankees might be emerging as one of the wild card contenders. I mean, the Red Sox might not be a bad pick, but I mean, even though I think with their big three, they might be competing at some point, but I still don't think that they'll be emerging as the favorites in the AL East this year. So the Orioles will be my pick for winning the AL East this year. Next up, the AL Central. I had this pick in way back to when the World Series had even begun. The Detroit Tigers. There is probably no doubt that A.J. Hinch has that team playing like a well-oiled machine. Their offense can certainly compete. Their pitching rotation is amazing, led by reigning AL Cy Young winner Tyreek Skubal. And I think they're going to be coming out there this year, and they're going to be winning the AL Central. I mean, a lot of people might think that there could be some competition. Maybe the Guardians might win it again, but I don't think so. I think the Tigers, who after they had come up short after they had snuck in as last year's AL wildcard team, I think they're going to be coming in as the AL Central Division champs and be competing amongst some of the big dogs in the AL this year. So Detroit is winning the AL Central. Bookmark it. So with that all set, who's going to be emerging as the three AL wildcards this year? Well, I mean, I have two picks set already, those being the Seattle Mariners and the Texas Rangers, if not certainly one of those teams. And I mean, even though I think the AL is probably going to be a pretty tough bloodbath this year with how many wildcard teams you're going to be, or how many teams will probably be competing for wildcard spots this year. But the Texas Rangers and the Seattle Mariners will be at least two of my picks. And then that leaves the third pick, which might actually be a tough decision as far as who I think is going to be sneaking in as the last wildcard team. But I think that the Cleveland Guardians are going to be sneaking in as the final AL wildcard team this year. So, again, we'll see how these things happen. Again, this is just a prediction video. It's probably not going to be breaking out this way. Next up, going to the National League side of things, the NL West, there's probably no doubt as to who's going to be winning the NL West. The LA Dodgers coming in as this year's reigning champs. The fact that they had spent all this money, they might as well be in a league of their own at this point. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, they're printing their own money, and they're signing basically every free agent that's available out there. I mean, I don't see anybody dethroning the Dodgers this year. Maybe the Diamondbacks could be a candidate because, I mean, their offense is great. They can definitely score runs. I mean, their pitching is not too shabby, so I could see them competing against them this year, but I don't think they're going to be dethroning the Dodgers. So, I'm sorry. And while we're at it, Robert Manfred, if you're watching this video, implement a salary cap, for crying out loud. Do I really need to say more about that? I don't think so. Next up, the NL Central. I think this is the year that the Chicago Cubs finally dethrone the Milwaukee Brewers. I mean, there's obviously no doubt that the Cubs, with the acquisition of former Astro Kyle Tucker in this offseason, that they can certainly be competing this year. Now, there's no doubt that with the amazing spring that Cam Smith had, there was no doubt that the Astros had gotten the benefit from this trade because the Cubs traded away 3 of their good players, Isaac Paredes, Hayden Wiesinski, and their top-ranked prospect Cam Smith for just 1 year of Kyle Tucker, and I don't see the Cubs paying him like $300+ million this season and making him stay there long term. Like, I expected Kyle Tucker to be walking away from the Cubs in free agency this upcoming offseason, and, you know, he's probably going to be getting a multi-million-dollar contract from some other team out there. But Chicago, bookmark this. The NL Central is yours. I have a strong feeling that the Chicago Cubs are going to be dethroning the Milwaukee Brewers this year. Obviously, the Milwaukee Brewers are still a pretty good team. I mean, they haven't really showed in the playoffs as much, but they still have what it takes. And I still think the Milwaukee Brewers are going to be emerging in as one of the 2 NL wild cards this year. But next up, let's go on to the National League East. I think my pick this year for the NL East is going to go to the New York Mets. There's no doubt that with them signing Juan Soto, that they're going to be competing in the NL East this year. I mean, as an Astros fan, I'm certainly glad that Juan Soto is out of the American League and that he won't be a nemesis to us more than once. And obviously, as an Astros fan, we only need to face him once a year for the next, decade and a half. But yeah, the Mets are going to be winning the NL East this year. It's obviously going to be tough. And I mean, there's certainly going to be some other big dog teams competing with them, like the Braves and also the Phillies. But I could probably see at least one of those teams emerging as a wild card team in the National League. There's a lot of teams in the National League that could be emerging in as wild card contenders this year. And I mean, it's going to be hard to lay a finger on which one's going to do which. Like I said, it's going to be a pretty fun season this year again. So the NL wildcard division champs are picked: Dodgers in the West, Cubs in the Central, and Mets in the East. As for my 3 wildcard picks, I'm going to be giving one of my wildcard picks this year to the Philadelphia Phillies. I mean, I feel like the Phillies are going to be playing with a big chip on their shoulder this year. Ever since falling short in the World Series in 2022, they have failed to make it to the World Series ever since. I mean, they did lose. I mean, they had lost in Game 7 of the 23 NLCS the following season after being up in that series 3-2, and they haven't, and that's the closest they've come to a World Series appearance ever since. I don't know what fans should be expecting from Philly this season. I mean, there's been a lot of trade talks of Nolan Arenado possibly being traded. I mean, there were some similar trade talks of Framber Valdez for the Astros getting traded, but despite that, neither team dealt away their respective player. So, I mean, again, we'll see how that unfolds as the season progresses. Maybe we could see one of those players being dealt at the trade deadline, depending on if his team isn't really competing for a wild card spot or anything like that. But, I mean, like I said, the Phillies are going to be one of my wild card picks. The San Diego Padres will be my next pick. And then the Milwaukee Brewers will be my third and final pick, and the team that will be sneaking in as the third and final NL wildcard team. So there you guys have it. I know that this video seemed to be a little bit shorter than last year. I didn't really explain why, but for the most part. But like I said, those are gonna be my 6 division champs and also my 6 wildcard picks. And who's making the playoffs this year. Let me know down in the comments, guys. Who do you have winning each division, and who do you have emerging as wildcard contenders this year? Is there a team out there that I did not list as making the playoffs, but you think will be? Let me know down in the comments. Let's spark some discussions down there. That's gonna do it for this video, guys. I'll see you guys on opening day. Peace out.